Hi, my name is Jen Laderoute, and I'm from Gift Lake, Alberta. Gift Lake is located about 4.5 hours northwest of Edmonton. And I was born and raised in Gift Lake in the 1950s, early 1960s. And I have told a few stories already, childhood stories. So this one is sort of what I would call summing up those stories that I shared about growing up poor in an isolated community, and what my takeaways are from having had such a childhood. My childhood was, within a context of a very different life, a different time. Life in the 1950s, so different from today. And that's why I shared these stories, because I feel that I have so much that I learned from having been a child at that time. First of all, I thank God. I thank God for blessing me with parents who taught us so much. The values and the work ethic I have came from my parents. I was secure in the knowledge that no matter how poor we were, our parents would take care of us. I have that knowledge. And, nobody had to tell us that. We just knew. I thank God for a large family. And I thank God for the Christian faith that I was raised on. I thank God for the community that Gift Lake was. It was a time where there was a strong sense of community. When everyone was poor, when everyone helped each other. And yes, Gift Lake was poor in many different ways, but we were also rich in many ways, living a simple life, sheltered from what was going on in the outside world, in mainstream society. We had very little knowledge or exposure to that life. Even like in my videos, I talk about how we lived in terms of no modern conveniences, like we didn't have power, no water, no central heating. We had to work hard to survive. There was no jobs, but my dad worked hard to support us by hunting, fishing, trapping. When he'd have fur to sell in the spring, he would go out to work for weeks at a time and come home, putting in a big garden. That was the kind of subsistence life that we lived. It was a good life. I guess I feel that I was blessed to live in such a time. There was a strong sense of community in Gift Lake. And I think I said that already. And people had a great sense of humor, which likely got them through some tough times. And people were close. It was a small community. I would say maybe a couple of hundred people when I was a child, if that. It was a small community. But I have absolutely no regrets that I was born during that time, and I had my childhood during those days. So what did I learn? What did I learn from all of that? Coming from a childhood where we didn't have much. Growing up in a place that was like so isolated from the main society and all that it had to offer. We had no, basically, I talk in my other videos about having no means of communication. We didn't have TVs, no phones. The road out of Gift Lake was not that great. There wasn't that many vehicles. And if you listen to my other videos, I tell about different aspects. How we didn't have toys, how we didn't have facilities, things to, you know, like for entertainment. We had to create our own. That was part of the fun. What did I learn from doing my part every day? At times working hard as a child to contribute to the daily functioning and survival of the family. Because that was what we did as children. As soon as you were able to work, you had your chores. What did I learn playing many, many, many hours? Because that was our job when we were kids. It was our job to play. Yes, we had our chores. When we were done, we had play. What did I learn from being part of a large family? There was 10 children in my family. So, and a lot of cousins that we lived close to. And so a lot of playmates. What did I learn from being part of a church community? And I guess I would say the most important takeaway from how I grew up, and this is true for my siblings also, is that it taught us and gave us the skills we needed to prepare for adulthood. We entered adulthood running. We were prepared to be self-sufficient and to be resourceful. And we were equipped with problem-solving skills and to rely on ourselves. You know, as we started our life journey. This is Laboom tea. I like to drink Laboom tea when I'm telling my stories. Awesome. If you've never had Laboom tea, you gotta get some. In the first video I made, I entitled it, We Didn't Know We Were Poor. Because we didn't know we were poor. Our expectations were simple. We had what we needed. You know, we had food on the table. We had something to wear. I talk about that. We had siblings and cousins to play with lots. Our family was close by. We all lived in a group of 4 or 5 homes. And we had our parents, of course, and we had love. We had enough sleep. We didn't stay up all night and sleep all day. We had 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day. My mom cooked 3 meals a day. And we had the meals at the table. Everyone sat at the table. The only thing, well, I remember a big long table with benches on each side and a chair at the end of each. I also remember Mom, or I don't remember Mom sitting with us at the table to eat with us. She was always hovering about, busy serving up food and otherwise making sure that we had what we needed as we ate our meal. I mentioned earlier, playing was our job. We used our imaginations because basically that was all we had. We came up with the ideas of what to play. We came up with a plan. We gathered what we needed. We assigned roles, and we had a fun outcome. Isn't that what we do in life? We did that when we played. Because like I said, we had no toys. We didn't have things to press a button and it entertained us. Like whenever it was a game or playing house, building something, going somewhere in the bush on an adventure, going to pick berries even, we did all that. Through all the play we did, I learned about creativity, compromise, and fairness. Even in figuring out how to make a chore easier and to get it done faster, needed thought, a plan, an outcome. So even in doing chores, we did all that. And we also played as we did our chores. So our chores were fun. We made them fun. We had when Mom and Dad told us to do something, there was no questioning why. There was no complaining. We just had to do it and do it. Simak. That means like right now. No wasting time. No, trying our best to get out of the task. No, we did it. We had to do it. We learned so much and developed, so many skills just by using our imaginations in play. I looked up in the dictionary and it says, the dictionary defines imagination as creativity, resourcefulness, initiative, inspiration, curiosity, and a couple of other really good words. I didn't list them all. So we used all of these skills as we played. We entertained ourselves. Our parents didn't have to entertain us. We created our own memories. And the memories we have with our parents are also very precious. Most of it involved going somewhere. I grew up in the days of horse and wagon, doing chores with them, like as an example, hauling water from the creek with our mother. That was spending time with her. That counted as spending time with her. Helping our dad plant the garden was spending time with Dad. Helping him harvest the garden was spending time with Dad. No, yeah, like I said, we didn't have much. No toys. Like we had a bike, a really big boy's bike that was the family bike, and that's what we learned to ride bike on. We had a pair of skates that my older brother had, like, he got a new pair of skates for Christmas or something. And so his old pair were the skates that we learned to skate on, even though they were so big. I remember using those skates. So I remember one time we had a hula hoop. That was so awesome. A skipping rope, an old rope that Dad had was what we used. So we compromised. We were resourceful. We were creative in what we had. Sticks and cans. A nice flat glass for hopscotch. Get it at the dump. So we had to be resourceful. We developed problem-solving skills through doing chores. Helping them do, when they gave us a task, helping them accomplish something that needed all of us kids to be involved, like cleaning the yard in the spring, for example. Taking care of the younger children, that was also my role as well as my older sister. Helping with activities that, contributed to a smooth running house, making a living, to the survival of the family. Helping feed the animals. We had cows and horses. Picking berries, hauling water, all of that, all those things that we had to do. We had our language. Yes, I speak Cree. So Cree was all we knew. We learned, that was our first language. We all spoke it. It was all we knew. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that. That's my first language. Because, in speaking our language, everything is in its proper context. And it makes sense. It made sense to us when we were kids. We didn't speak any English at all. We had to learn English when we started school. Values and beliefs are built into a language. We learned cultural values by speaking them and living them as everyday life went on around us. Because that is what happens in life. You learn, as a child, you learn values as you live within your family and your community. That's another topic. But also the values as demonstrated to us by our parents and how they raised us. We didn't have, big events focused on us that required like time and resources, money we didn't have, such as birthday parties. I never had a birthday party when I was a child. Well, barely any in my life, but I've had a few. But in my childhood, and not just me, like nobody had a birthday party. I remember one time one sibling had a birthday party because he begged and begged and begged Mom for a party. And Mom didn't have the supplies to bake a cake. So it was, no, I can't make you a cake. So he went into the cupboard and he found Jell-O. We don't need a cake, we'll just have Jell-O. So we had a Jell-O birthday party. But in looking back, I don't feel deprived at all. We didn't have expectations like a big bash on our birthday. we were actually fortunate to even get a birthday present. And I think that certainly contributed to our appreciation for the treats that we did have. We didn't expect the focus and attention on us individually, but we sure enjoyed the special things that we got to experience when we did, such as being able to go to the High Prairie Stampede by horse and wagon. I remember a stampede where there was only 2 rides. That was a huge treat. There was a Ferris wheel and the carousel, the ponies. So, and they were indeed a treat. What did that teach me? To not even get a birthday present or a birthday party. Well, it taught me to be satisfied with what I had. I got a hug from Mom and Dad on my birthday. And I got a birthday spank. If you've never heard of a birthday spank, you used to get a spank, like 1 swat for each year. So if you're 11, you got 11 spanks. And that was a big thing. You know, another thing, I mentioned earlier that we had 3 meals a day and we all sat at the table and ate the meal together as a family. Well, the other thing we did together as a family is we all went to bed at the same time. The way of life, like the fire didn't get any more wood, like it was allowed to die down. The lamps were blown. There was no power, so there's nobody staying up to watch TV after everyone else went to bed. All of us, the kids and the parents, we all went to bed at the same time. I would say maybe around 9 or 10. The lamp lights were turned off, the fire died down, and we snuggled under the blankets Mom had made. Down feathered blankets, and shared with a sibling or 2. So we had enough rest, because that's important. Mom and Dad got up to get things rolling for the day. They got up, before us, build the fire. And us kids got up at the same time. I woke up to porridge cooking on the stove every day. I remember actually lining up with my siblings, the younger siblings anyway, to have Mom wash our face with a face cloth. Okay, next. We didn't get to wash our own face. Mom washed our face. In the winter, when she was done washing our face, she administered to us poison. Cod liver oil. That's still another childhood memory I will always remember, is that awful cod liver oil. But I talk about that in another video also. At times when Dad was home, he would brush our hair, the girls. That was good. Love that. I believe that my family, my siblings, extended family, as well as other adults in my community, prepared me for the world outside of my tiny community in different ways, many different ways. I talk about community life in my other videos. So I have to end this at some point in time. So I'll end it by saying I thank God once again for my childhood. I have awesome childhood memories, and I don't think I missed out on anything. I am so happy and thankful that I grew up in the time that I did. I wouldn't want it any other way. Igosimaga, I hope you enjoyed Jen's Kaya Sa Go stories.